Number 6. Norman Bates from Psycho. Yet another character who just sort of keeps you guessing and guessing. You can't figure out if he's a good guy, a bad guy, an innocent pawn, or an evil plotter. All you know is that he's horribly obsessed with his mother, and the less you know about that, the better.
Did he go out with friends?
Well, a boy's best friend is his mother.
Every time you see him, you get nervous. You can't tell if he's just a poor soul or a time bomb waiting to go off.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
His twitching and sudden mood swings keeps the character a complete mystery until the very end. And without actually giving away the twist ending, let's just say every movie nowadays that does have a twist ending owes everything to this film.
Understand? I don't hate her. I hate what she's become.
If you haven't seen the movie yet, check it out and see how influential both the film and his performance was. And speaking of influences, where do you think Alex got his smile from?
But she's harmless. She's as harmless as one of those stuffed birds.
Oh, and if you're thinking about seeing the shot-by-shot remake, I have only one thing to say to you. Vince Vaughn as Norman Bates. Number 5. The Gemini Killer from Exorcist 3. This film is sort of like the Planet of the Apes movies. If you can buy the absurdity of it all, it's actually a pretty damn good film. You just really gotta stretch your suspension of disbelief. And one of the things that makes it so effective is Brad Dourif and Jason Miller as the Gemini Killer. Sort of a long story, but after the death of Damien in the first Exorcist movie, another spirit known as the Gemini Killer sneaks in. Therefore, we sometimes see the person as Damien or as the killer, and both are pretty damn scary. Jason Miller does well switching personalities.
There is suffering over there. They can be cruel. Who is they? Never mind. I do that rather well. Don't you think?
While Brad Dourif does well actually being one of the personalities.
Do you dance? What do you mean?
Both range from gentle whispers to blood-curdling screams, never knowing what's going to come out of them.
Then the tube moves through the vein under the crease of the arm.
As he watches while I rip and cut and mutilate the innocent, his friends, and again and again and on and on. He is inside with us. He will never get away. His pain won't end.
The film was directed by the author of the original Exorcist book, and he certainly shows an understanding of both suspense and horror. Is it as good as the first film? No. Can it be far-fetched? Sometimes. But it's still a really creepy and nerve-tingling movie, with haunting visuals, creepy ideas, and of course, 2 great performances as the Gemini Killer.
Come in, Father Morning. Enter, Night. This time you're going to lose.
Number 4. The Joker from The Dark Knight. It's almost pointless to talk about this performance as I've talked about it so much, but I think everybody was taken back at just how terrifying Heath Ledger was as the Joker. We know nothing about his past, family, or friends. We just know that his goal is to simply spread chaos.
Introduce a little anarchy. Upset the established order, and everything becomes chaos.
He's like a demon that can't be destroyed, but the most disturbing part is, he makes it sound like he shouldn't be destroyed, like he's part of the grand plan. He makes it sound like it's the natural order, that he's humanity fully realized.
When the chips are down, these civilized people, they'll eat each other. See, I'm not a monster. I'm just ahead of the curve.
We don't know if he was born that way or had to go through some sort of crazy series of events, but either way, he's bad news. Both Ledger and Nolan took what was primarily an old school comic book villain and turned him into the embodiment of anarchy and chaos. But there's hints of a dark reality that lies in him too, and I think that's where the real fear comes from. I think we can all agree the scariest scene is the one that seemed the most realistic, as the shaky camera and the bad audio truly added to the grittiness of this murder scene.
Look at me!
Combining the dark side of comics with the dark side of reality, the Joker is one evil clown we won't soon be forgetting.
Why so serious?
Number 3. Anton from No Country for Old Men. It was actually pretty hard deciding who was creepier, Anton or the Joker. I decided to go with Anton for one main reason. Unlike the Joker who wants to be anarchy and misery, I think Anton feels he has to be anarchy and misery. Like there's no other choice. That's just another level of depression to add to this character.
You don't have to do this.
People always say the same thing.
What do they say?
They say, you don't have to do this.
He doesn't really smile that much, so he's not fully enjoying what he's doing. It's like a strange fixation that if he doesn't do certain horrible things, the world will be thrown out of alignment. Much like the Joker, we don't know why he's come to this conclusion, but it's pretty obvious nobody's changing his mind. You just look at him and you think unpleasantness. How does he see the world where he feels he has to do these things?
I won't tell you can save yourself, because you can't.
The whole movie itself is basically about the evolution of the dark criminal mind and how it's only getting worse, evolving to a point where not only can we not control it, but even more disturbing, we can't understand it. Anton is the perfect representation of that. Not feeling, never satisfied, doesn't know if he's doing the right thing or the wrong thing, but above all, doesn't care. Every word he says is beyond cryptic, as well as confusing.
You got no cause to hurt me.
No. But I gave my word to your husband.
That don't make sense.
I mean, when has a coin toss ever been so fucking terrifying? I don't think so. A little bit. But this still takes the cake.
Just go.
I didn't put nothing up.
Yes, you did. You've been putting it up your whole life. You just didn't know it.
I need to know what I stand to win.
Everything. You stand to win everything. Call it.
Everything has a meaning, but everything also means nothing. Total shit your pants philosophy.
Don't put it in your pocket. It's your lucky quarter. Or it'll get mixed in with the others and become just a coin. Which it is.
Anton's that stranger you hope never to meet in the middle of nowhere.
Who is this? You know who it is.
Number 2. Reagan from The Exorcist. Considered to be the scariest movie of all time, The Exorcist all centers around a girl who's possessed by something not of this world. Is it the devil? Maybe. Is it one of his followers? Who knows? But one thing we can figure out is that Reagan is not alone.
Where's Reagan?
In here with us.
On top of Linda Blair's fantastic performance, we also have the voice talent of Mercedes McCambridge, who has one of those creepy voices where you can't really tell if it's a man or a woman, which just makes it all the more surreal.
How long are you planning to stay in Reagan?
Until she rots and lies stinking in the earth.
On top of that, the makeup, the lighting, and the overall direction makes the idea of a possessed girl seem surprisingly plausible.
Your mother's in here with us, Garth. Would you like to leave a message? I'll see that she gets it.
You really feel like you're there as all this shit is going on, and so did a lot of other people apparently. Audience members went screaming out of the theaters when they first saw this film, and even today they continue to show it in theaters around Halloween. Why? Because it still gets a shock out of people.
I'm Damien Cows.
And I'm the devil. Now kindly undo these straps.
This little demon brat was scary back then and is still scary now. She had everything, a spinning head, green vomit, telekinesis, voices she could imitate, shape-shifting, she had it all. And I guess she might have been a murderer too, but I don't know. Is the idea when Father Merrin is found dead that he died over a heart attack, or did Reagan kill him? If she killed him, how exactly did that work? Hey Father, look over there! Alright. Whatever happened, there's certainly no doubt that little Reagan definitely had more than one person in her head. And the number 1 scariest performance is... Hal, from 2001 A Space Odyssey. Why? Because he's everything inspiring and terrifying about the evolution of man. He's the supreme computer, has artificial intelligence, and can come to logical conclusions on his own.
I would recommend that we put the unit back in operation and let it fail. We can certainly afford to be out of communication for the short time it will take to replace it.
But with that comes a thinking that only runs on logic, and when the computer sees the crew of the ship as a danger to the mission, he destroys them. No second thoughts, he just destroys them.
During the past few weeks, I've wondered whether you might be having some second thoughts about the mission.
There's no sympathy, no reasoning, just logic.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that. This mission is too important for me to allow you to jeopardize it.
Everything he says, no matter how creepy, is always in that monotone voice. He's never happy, sad, or angry. It's not like a person where you can argue to their emotional side. With Hal, you know there's no emotional side. If he thinks you should go, you're gone. And he'll use everything that mankind has programmed into him to carry it out.
Dave, this conversation can serve no purpose anymore. Goodbye.
The other creepy thing is Hal knows about the human animal and does everything he can to trick them, like pretending he can't hear them in the space pod when he's secretly reading their lips. Or how about when he tries to play to Dave's emotional side by flat out lying to him?
I know everything hasn't been quite right with me. I feel much better now. I really do.
He'll do anything to complete the mission, and what makes him so scary is that we designed him that way. We have nobody to blame but us. In many ways, he's the ultimate accomplishment, but in others, he's the ultimate fuck-up. We can't blame him because we'd be blaming ourselves. And the sinister determination that Hal has is a direct representation of what we pride. Efficiency at any cost.
It can only be attributable to human error. This sort of thing has cropped up before, and it has always been due to human error.
Hal is scary because of his voice, his actions, and most of all where he came from. Us. He is a cautionary tale of not only where mankind could be going, but what we can, have, and will ultimately become.
Daisy, give me your answer too.
And those are my top 11 scariest performances. And for those of you wondering why I didn't put Tim Curry from It on there, don't worry. Enlightenment will be coming next week.